Okay, let's get stuck in. Okay, so it's week 3, last week of the finance course, and we're talking about tax tables. Now, in the previous lesson, we learned about income, and we learned about income tax. All right. Unfortunately, for all of us, when you earn a salary, which could be represented by this bar over here, this salary that you earn over here, this long bar, unfortunately, SARS takes a portion of this salary. Okay, so they decide to take a portion, and let's say the portion is this much over here. All right, so SARS will say, listen, you earn an income, we need to pay taxes to us so we can run the country. So we're going to take that portion of your salary. All right, so they do a calculation. Your employer often does this calculation for you to see what your income is, and they will take a percentage of that, and then that gets paid to SARS. All right. Yeah, Chama, you need finances to run the country, all right? So every country has this, every country pays tax. There's a famous old saying, the only two things in life that are certain, that will never ever go away, are death and taxes. Okay, so it's something that everyone has to do. Yeah, I know. Everyone has to pay taxes. All right, you have to pay taxes, and hopefully that money gets used well by the people in charge to give us the things that we need, like medical care, etc. But let's not get into that. That's a whole different discussion altogether. So your employer will look at your salary, which is represented by this bar, and they will say, all right, we need to take off a certain percentage according to SARS's rules. They will take off that percentage, that top piece there, which is highlighted in red, and they will give you the rest. Okay, so the rest goes into your pocket, but you've got to pay your taxes first. Okay, so you don't get the whole salary and then pay. There are some people that will earn money that way, and then they will have to calculate for themselves what the percentage is and then pay that to SARS themselves. But usually your employer does this for you. Okay, so income tax is exactly what it sounds like, a tax on your income. Before you get any income, it will be taxed. The remainder is paid to you. Okay. Now, it's not all bad news. All right. So, hi, Janu. So it's not all bad news. What the government has said is they're encouraging us to have things like medical aid and pensions. All right. So what they're saying is, if a medical aid and a pension is part of your income package, they will not tax that. All right. So let's say, let's remove all the tax here for a second. Let's say on top of your basic income, your company decides to give you a portion towards medical aid, and then they also decide to give you a portion towards pension. All right. So your new income is this huge bar over here. All right. So this massive bar is your new income. Okay. If you declare to the government and say, hey, don't tax that because that is my medical aid, and do not tax that because that is my pension, they're happy with that. They're fine. They won't tax it. So they won't take a percentage of the whole bar. All right. They'll ignore the medical aid portion and the pension portion, and they'll only come down and they'll only tax your salary. Okay, so they'll only take this part off. They will not take a percentage of the whole bar, including your medical aid and pension. They'll only tax your basic salary. All right, which is a good thing. Okay, so they're encouraging people to get medical aids and get salaries, and they say we will not tax that. You get it, and we'll leave it alone. All right, which is a good thing. It's a good thing for us. So you can see here at the bottom on the left-hand side, over here, it says taxable income. The income that is taxable, in other words, the income that will be taxed, is the income received after medical aid, pension, and UIF is deducted. Okay, so you get a whole lot of money coming in. It could be basic salary, medical aid, pension, etc., etc., etc. And they're saying, all right, that portion is going to medical aid, that's going to pension, that's going to UIF. We will not tax that. We will tax you on what's left behind. All right. Okay, so they'll only apply tax onto what the income that is left behind after these three things are taken off, which is good for us. Okay, so whenever we do, oh, sorry, let me go down a bit. Whenever we do a income tax calculation, we always have to make sure that medical aid, pension, and UIF is removed, and then, only then can we calculate income tax. Okay, are there any questions so far? Are we all good? Do you understand? Use the raise your hand function in Zoom. Thank you, Sonia, for that thumbs up. Raise your hand function in Zoom, and we will answer the question. Okay. Let's look at the scenario. All right. So here we go. Here's the scenario. Mr. Kasambale, age 42, owns a gross salary. Can someone tell me, please, what does this word gross salary mean? In chat, or you can raise your hand and tell me online. What does gross salary mean? Okay, gentlemen, we have gross and we have net. What does gross mean?
I'm looking forward to hearing someone's voice just to explain to us what gross salary means.
Anybody, somebody.
Anybody.
Anybody.
Somebody.
Somebody out there. What is gross salary? We spoke about it on Tuesday. We spoke about it last week as well. You guys should know what gross salary is. Salary before deductions, the table. Thank you. Salary before deductions. All right. It says it over there. Salary before deductions. Okay. So this is what you are supposed to get before they start deducting things. All right. So when you go and apply for a job, this is what they're going to say that you're going to earn. So let's say it's 30,000 Rand. They're going to say, we're going to give you 30,000 Rand for this job. You don't actually get 30,000 Rand because there's a whole lot of deductions. Very good, Wanga. Good job. All right. So the gross salary before deductions is 22,500 a month. Okay. So we can see the value there. Then this next part is important. It says from his salary, from this gross salary, an amount of 1625 is deducted for medical aid, and UIF amounting to 225. Now we learned about UIF. It's always 1% of your basic salary or your gross salary. There you can see 22,500, and here it is 225. That's 1%. And then it says a further 7.5% of his gross salary is deducted for pension. Now, that's not a Rand value. So we might have to actually work out what that Rand value is. That's probably one of the questions coming up. Okay. So we've got two of the things that we need to deduct before we can even look at the income that's going to be taxed. Okay. So those three things need to come off. But this one here, we will have to work out ourselves. All right. Right, let's see what the first question is. We can kind of get an idea of what the questions are going to be. But here we go. Here's the first one. Calculate the amount paid to Mr. Kasambale's pension fund. All right, so they want you to do that first. There's no Rand value yet for this pension fund value. So we need to go ahead and start working that out now. So you guys are going to start doing that. We need to work out his pension fund, which is 7.5% of his gross salary. Okay, so can you guys quickly do that? And then, very good. Now, lady, good. Can you guys quickly do that? And then we can move on to the next question. So please work out what is the pension fund value? It's 7.5% of his gross salary. And his gross salary is up here. We need 7.5% of that. I'll give you a minute or two. All right, the answers should start popping up in chat. If you don't have time to put your answer in chat, please don't worry. keep it there in front of you because we're going to do the question and you're going to see an answer on the screen. Just make sure that the answer on the screen is the same as the one that you have. So if you don't put your answer in chat, it's okay. I just want to get an idea of who's finished, if guys are finished. All right, there we go. We got some values coming up. Okay, good. Good, Avuzwa. All right, good. Well done, Abigail. So the answers are coming up. So let's do this calculation quickly. So we need 7.5%. You guys keep putting the answers up there if you want. I'm going to start the calculation. We just make sure that my answer and the one you have is the same. So we need 7.5% of his gross salary, and his gross salary is 22,500. All right. So I've written my 7.5% as a fraction. You could write it as a decimal. Some people even write it as 7.5% on their calculator. You can do that. I don't recommend it, but you can, not a problem. Okay, so let's have a look on the calculator. So some people actually say 7.5%. I can't even find the percent button on my calculator because I don't use it that much. There it is. So some people actually use that percent sign. I try and stay away from it as much as possible, and I'll tell you why later on this year. I like to write a percentage as a fraction. All right, and we need 7.5% of 22,000. 150. All right. So now we have the pension value. Let's have a look at the next question. All right. It says, hence. Hence. Now, can anyone tell me, anybody, somebody tell me, what do they mean when they start the sentence with hence? You can raise your hand and speak to me online or put it in chat, but we'd really like to hear your voices. Kia gets tired of hearing my voice after a while.
There we have Refilwe. Please look for a message on your screen that's gonna ask you
there
to
unmute. Refilwe, how are you?
Hence, I'm good, thank you. Hence means because. Therefore, okay. I meant.
Therefore, good. Therefore, all right. Very good. Thank you, Refilwe. So hence means therefore. So if they say hence or therefore, they mean the same thing. All right. It usually comes after a specific question. So it relates to the question above. So they're saying hence or therefore, which means now that you've done this first question, calculate the amount paid to his pension fund, now determine his monthly taxable income. So we can't really do it unless we've answered the previous question. So what it means is take the answer from the previous question and use it now in this question. Thank you, Rafila. Very good. Very good. All right. So take the answer from the previous question and now determine the monthly taxable income. And I said before that the monthly taxable income is the amount received after medical aid, pension, and UIF is deducted. So we're going to take his income, which is 22,500, remove these three values, deduct these three values, and then that is the taxable income, the income that's going to be taxed. Okay, so you guys can do that. So you take the, I'll leave it up there, take the income, remove the medical aid, the UIF, and the pension, and get a value, and let's see what you get. And remember, at any time, if you have a question, press that raise your hand button or put it into chat. You can send it to Kia, and Kia will also help you with any questions that you have. So I need to work out what is the taxable income. Remove the deductions to find the taxable income.
Tiamo's already starting with the emojis.
Tiamo, don't worry. Don't you worry. You're gonna be fine. Abuzwa? Yeah, that looks a little bit high. Because you got 1,625, 225, and then this value that we've just calculated here. Don't forget that, hey? There's 3 numbers that you must remove. All right, so you take the gross income, which is up there, 22,500, and remove the 3 things: pension, medical aid, UIF. Okay, so remove 3 numbers, deduct 3 numbers. That'll leave you with your taxable income. All right, very good. Wanga, Demetrius, Demon, very good. Got some numbers coming in. All right, Abulele, even with the thousands, space there, very good. Decimals, units, very good. Abulele, good job. All right, very good job. Good. Looks like you guys are on the ball. Okay, so let's have a look. Keep your answers there. And we're going to check. All right, so we need to minus 3 things. Yes, you're supposed to subtract. Very good. You're supposed to subtract 3 numbers. Sakile, very good. So very good. All right. So what Sakile is doing now is he's adding up the 3 numbers that he needs to subtract first. So I'm showing that in this bracket. All right. So I'm saying these are the numbers that I need to take away: 1,625 and 225 and 1,687.50 cents. So those 3 numbers need to be subtracted. So I've got them in a bracket here. So if you want to add these up first and get a total, that's fine. I've got everything in one line. All right. So this part of the calculation, if you want to do that separately, absolutely fine. Not a problem at all, Sakile. It's actually a very good idea. I keep everything in one line, and then I throw it in the calculator to spit out the answer. But absolutely fine. All right. Okay, so there we go. We are subtracting those 3 values: the pension, the UIF, sorry, the medical aid, UIF, and the pension. All right, those 3 need to come off the gross salary before we can see what the taxable income is. All right, so let's get the calculator, and I'm going to put it in the calculator exactly like I have it now. All right, so I'm going to say minus. If you want to minus 1 number, then minus a number and minus a 3rd number, that'll also work. Okay, I'm just putting a bracket to show you the 3 values that need to come off. Okay. All right. So there we go. 18,962 and 50 cents. So 18,962 and 50 cents. All right. So what we can say now is after medical aid, pension, and UIF has come off, this income here, this 18,962, this is taxable. This is going to be taxed. All right. So we call this taxable. It's taxable income. Okay. All right. So step number 1 is to work out what the taxable income is. Now, this is the interesting part. And if you, oh, I can see Tiamo's going to hit me with the emojis now. Then we get the tax table. Now, this might look similar to the tariff tables that we've done before. Okay. Do not get a fright. Please do not get a fright. There's a lot of information here. It's actually very easy to use. You've got to work carefully and step by step, and it's very easy to use. Yes. Okay.
It's already started.
It's already started. Yes. All right. Do not get a fright. Okay. You can do this. I'm going to walk you through this. It's actually very easy. All right. Now, the first thing I need you to notice is this whole calculation that we did. If I go back up to the text at the top here, let me scroll up, and I want you to notice a special word. I'm going to erase all of this, and we're going to look at this text again, because there's something in here that you need to see. So it says here, Mr. Cousinbali, age 42, earns a gross salary. The salary before any deductions are made of 22,500 a month. This is a monthly salary. We've just worked out his monthly taxable income. Okay, but look at this tax table. What does it say up here? Annual. All right. Now, you can't use a monthly taxable income value and go into this tax table because it's an annual tax table. We've got to do something to that monthly amount before we can go into an annual tax table. What do you guys think we need to do to the monthly amount that we've just calculated before we go into the tax table? What calculation will we need to do to this 18,962.50 cents before we go into the tax table? Thank you, Olwetu. Thank you, Olwetu. Rafilo, good job. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so you guys know what to do. Okay, so here we go. Number one, there's the first question. You have to do this first. We can't use this table if we've got a monthly amount. So it says, determine Mr. Kasambale's annual taxable income. All right. Now, you should all have your answers in front of you. If not, I will copy it and bring it down for you so you can see it. All right, there it is. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to put it here underneath. Come on down. There we go. All right. I'm going to say per month. So he gets taxed on 18,962.50 a month. But we need an annual taxable income. So you guys can do the calculation. I'm sure the answers are already popping out there. There we go. There's the first one. There we go. All right, good stuff. Fast fingers. So we need to take this monthly taxable income and change it into an annual. Annual means for a year. So to change a monthly value into an annual value, we've got to multiply by 12. Nice and easy. My answer's still in the calculator. I just go times 12. There we go. So 227,550. So 227,550. All right. Stay with me. Stay with me. You guys are there. I'm sure I said multiply. All right, stay with me. Now we've got an annual taxable income. Now we can actually look at the tax table. You can't even look at it unless you've got an annual taxable income. Now let's look at this tax table. All right, so on the left-hand side over here, we've got intervals, okay, in rands. And then on the right-hand side over here, we've got the tax calculation. All right. So this is like a sliding scale tax calculation. You pay more tax the more money you earn. Okay, so it's not the same rate for everyone. People that earn a huge salary get taxed the most. Personally, I think that's a good thing. All right, Abigail. Yes.
Just look for a pop-up on your screen.
Yes, Abigail. All right. Okay, I think it was a mistake, maybe.
So,
Abigail, yes. Yes, I'm with you.
will they be able to give you the annual taxable income and then say work out the monthly income?
Yes, they can do that. They can give you an annual one, and at the end of the question, they ask you for a monthly one. In fact, when we get to the end of this question, they're going to ask the same thing. So we're going to work out an annual tax, and then we're going to go back down to a monthly at the end of this question. All right, because everyone wants to see on their salary or work out on, we earn money month to month. We want to know how much tax are you paying every month. So when the employer does this calculation, they will go and use an annual tax table and then break it down into a monthly piece and put it on your salary slip. Yes, you're right. We're going to do that at the end of this question, but I've got an annual tax table here in front of me. So unfortunately, I've got to take it up to an annual amount, use the table. Once I've got my annual tax calculated, at the end, I'll break it back down into a monthly amount. All right. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. Excellent. Okay. So we've got an annual tax amount. All right. So on the left-hand side, these are the intervals. So depending on how much you earn, you will pay a specific percentage of tax. Okay. So we've got to go and check Mr. Kasambale's annual income, and we see it's 227,550. So we can look and see that he is sitting in this third interval here. All right, it's between 195,001 Rand and 270,000. He is somewhere in between there. Where doesn't really matter, but he's in that interval. So we now will only be looking at this part of the tax table. Okay, we can ignore the rest. We're just focusing on that. So you use the annual taxable income in that interval there, and you see, he fits in this interval. So we're going to use this row of the tax table. Okay, so now we don't have to worry about anything else. In fact, you can just worry about this part of the tax table now. Okay, so based on his income, it puts him in this interval here, the third one, the third interval of this table. All right, now let's look at the next question. Use the tax table to determine his annual income tax payable. Use the table to calculate how much tax he pays. All right, so the table says if he earns that much money, he's in interval 3. You have to use the highlighted row that I've highlighted there in red to work this out. All right, so I'm going to rewrite that in this question at the bottom over here, just so you guys can see it. Okay, so it says 40,210 Rand. I'm going to rewrite it here. 40,210 plus, what does it say? 30% of the amount above 195,000. 30% of amounts above 195,000. So that's what that row says. All right. So I've taken it from the table. I've written it down here. We are going to use this now. Okay. So look at this line. Oh, I don't want to show you the next line because you guys are going to stare at that instead. Look at what I've written out now. So this person has to pay, number one, 40,210 Rand. That's a given. They have to pay that no matter what. That's how much. That's a tax amount they have to pay. But there's also an additional value they have to pay, which is this one here. They pay 40,210 plus 30% of a value. Now, what is that value? Well, I'm going to put another bracket here. So we're breaking this up into chunks. You're going to pay 30% of the amount that you are above 195,000 Rand. Now, if we look back at Mr. Kasambale's value, he's above 195,000 by a certain amount. We need to know what that amount is and then multiply it by 30%. Once we've done that, we're going to add it on to the 40,210. Now, let me do it first, and you're going to see. All right. So you take 40,210. He has to pay this. Plus, and brackets are important here. We're going to compartmentalize and group things together. 30% times bracket. Now, I know you shouldn't really put a times in front of a bracket. When you put a number in front of a bracket, it means times, but I want you to see the times there anyway, okay? Now we're going to work out how much is he above 195,000. So I'm going to take his annual taxable income, which is 227,550. And how are we going to work out how much is he above 195,000? What calculation must I do to work out how much more than 195,000 this person is? What must I do? Minus. Very good. Okay, you guys are on the ball. So I need to subtract the 195,000. Okay. Now I'm compartmentalizing everything here. I'm doing it step by step into little pieces so you can see. Okay. All right. I'm going to simplify this now down into bits. So he still has to pay 40,210 plus 30% of this value. Well, let's work out what this value is right now. You could do this all in one calculation, but I'm going to do it bit by. So that's what the value is, 32,550. So this is how much he is above. This is how much he is above 195,000. He's that much above 195,000. That's what the tax table wants. Then I'm going to work out what is 30% of that. So I'm going to redraw this statement, and I'm going to work out what is 30% of that. Okay, so 30%, put it in a fraction, 100 times 32,550, and get the answer. So 30% of that number is 9765. 9765. Okay, so we're doing bit by bit here just to show you. Now, I don't need the brackets now. So he not only has to pay 40,210, but the 30% of the amount that he is above 195,000 works out to be 9,765. Okay, and we add these two together, we get a final answer. But can you see why they do this? Because the more a person is above 195,000, the higher this value will be, which is what SARS wants. The more money you earn, the more income you get, the higher your tax is. All right. So the more money that is taxable, the bigger the difference between these two values and the bigger this number will be, which makes sense. It's fair. The more money you earn, the more your tax will be. Okay. Now, people get worried, before we get to the answer here, people get worried because it's okay getting taxed 30% of that amount. But look at the next bracket, 35%. And the second to last one, 38%. And then the last one is 40%. So you don't really want to be pushed into a next bracket. You want to kind of stay in a bracket. So sometimes when you get a salary increase, it might actually push you into the next bracket. And this percentage, 30, will jump up. All right. So people sometimes get worried. Oh, I'm happy I got an increase, but did that push me into the next tax bracket? You'll hear people say, I've been pushed into the next tax bracket or the next tax interval in the tax table. So let's finish off this calculation. We finally get to the end here, and we can say 9765 plus 40,210, and that'll give us 49975. Whoopsie. 49975. All right. Now, what is this? This is his annual tax to be paid, payable, to be paid. All right. And we've worked it out using the tax table. Yes. Excellent. Good job. Okay. So I hope you guys see what we've done here. All right. Now, just to make sure that you guys understand and can use the tax table, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to change the income tax, sorry, the annual income that is taxable. You're going to go into the table and you're going to do the exact same calculation on your own. All right. Now, we previously had this value that we used, which was 227,550. I am going to write a new value in red above it. You are going to use that value and go into the tax table. Okay. So this is his annual taxable income. It is 283,425 Rand. Okay. I want you guys to try your best. It's your first time maybe, but try your best to see how much tax this person is going to pay. Step number 1, where in the table is he? I'm going to give you a clue. If it's 283, that puts him here. All right. It puts him there. Now, I suggest you write that out and then start putting some values in there, doing it step by step, very carefully, following the instruction in that row that's written there, 62,710 plus 35% of the amount you are above 270,000. Okay, step by step. I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to try this. It's going to take a while, but I want you to try. I want you to use this value in red and that bracket or in the tax table and see if you can do this on your own. Step by step, very carefully. I think everyone's going to need lots of ice cream tonight, Kia.
No, definitely, hey. This is a maths workout.
Yeah. Yes. Not the easiest thing, but once you get it, it's really good because it can be a really challenging section in any exam. So if we can get this, you guys are way ahead of the rest of the group. Tiama, you know, at the end of the course, you're going to need ice cream. The last lesson of the course is usually the one that needs the most ice cream. All right, if I can give you a hint, how much is he above 270,000? Work out 35% of that answer and add it to 62,710. Ah, Tapelo's already got a number there.
So quick.
Sure. If you don't get to post an answer into the chat, don't worry. Write it out in front of you, all your calculations, and then we're going to check it. We're going to go over it and we're going to check it and make sure that you are doing the same thing that I do. Okay. All right, now lady there as well. Good. All right. Keep your answers and your calculations ready. Abigail, that's a bit too big, eh? just check the value that you have where it says the amount above 270,000. That should be like 14,000 Rand roughly. You need 35% of 14,000 Rand added on to the 62,000. So that does look a little bit big. All right, so Keely there with another value. Oh no, Giamma.
He's sick of this.
The first time you try anything new is always challenging, but the more you practice, the better you get. You practice this enough, it'll be easy, I promise you. The first time you ride a bicycle, you often fall off, but eventually you learn how to ride that bicycle. Oh no. Don't say it, Tiamo.
It's way too early in the lesson.
All right, we're going to give you guys 2 more minutes. I hope you've got something in front of you. Even if you're not sure, there should be a start there. Some calculations in front of you in your pen and paper. All right. Sunako there with a value. Good. Well done. Well done for getting a, oh my gosh. Well done for getting a value out. All right, while I'm waiting, I'm just going to do some copy pasting here so I can bring this value down. So don't get a fright if you see a change on your screen. I'm just bringing something down quickly. I want to copy this and bring it down onto the page. Okay. It's Sakile, if you know that your percentage is wrong, don't stress. The fact that you've realized that it's wrong, you are self-correcting, it's absolutely fine. Okay. You can go ahead and try, but as long the fact that you're aware of it is a good thing. Yeah. Bulelo, that looks very big, hey? That looks a little bit too big. Let's check when I do it and when you do it now and see where the mistakes are. So guys, you should have a calculation in front of you, and when I do mine and you do yours, there should be the same thing. If not, we're going to see where the difference is. All right. So I'm going to start this one now. Okay. And I'm going to erase all of this work here. All right. I'm going to bring that value and the tax bracket down so you guys can see it again. I know some of you are thinking, hold on, I'm not finished yet. Just wait. I'll bring it down. I just want to make some space here. I'll bring it down now. Okay, so there's the instruction that we had to use. And I'm going to bring down the value as well that I wanted to use. I'll bring that down as well. All right, there it is. So there's the instruction from the tax bracket, and that's the value. Let's have a crack at this one. All right, so this person has to pay 62,710 plus something else. They need to pay 35% of a value. What that value is the amount above 270,000. How do we work out the amount above 270,000? You guys told me we had to subtract. So I'm going to subtract these values. Forgive me for not putting decimals. Kia and everyone. All right, let me just put them in anyway. I'll put the decimals in, even though they're just zeros. I'll show my decimals. It's good practice. Okay. Now, that's the statement, okay? So this part here where it says the amount above 270,000, that's this calculation here. All right, you guys told me to find that, I need to subtract. Here is my 35% of, there's my 35% of, and then I just need to add that onto the 62,710. All right, we're going to do this bit by bit. So we still need to pay 62,710. Plus, we need to pay 35% of this amount. Okay, now I'm not going to put a bracket anymore because I'm just going to work out this amount. So I'm going to say 283,425 minus 27,000, sorry, 270,000. Is that right? Yes. Okay, so it's 13,425, 13,425 Rand. Okay, so now we've changed this first bracket here to get this 13,425 Rand. Okay, let's move on. Let's try and do the next step. Still paying 62,700. Now 35% of 13,425. I'll do that on my calculator. 35% of 13,425. That works out to be 4,698 and 75. 4,698 and 75. All right, now I just add these up. I just need to take that and add it to 62,710. And this is the answer I get. 6,748 75. 6,748 and 75. All right. Looking at what I've done and looking at what you've done, what is different? Okay, if there's a difference, what is different? So check what I've done on the screen, look at what you've done, and see where we've gone different. All right, are there any questions? Are there any questions about the calculation that you see and the answer that we have here? Ah, oh, Tiamo, at least you don't have green faces. You've got the color back in your face now. They were green and now they're normal. That's a good thing. That's a good sign. Well done.
Spoke too soon.
Nonkaleko, well done. Thank you. All right, Abigail, you got to be a little bit specific about which thing, the whole thing all over again, or is there a specific part? Abigail, do you want to unmute and then tell me which part you're struggling with?
Sir,
Yeah.
One thing I want to find out is the values from the top line, where you got the 35% times the whole two values there. I want to find out where you got those two values from.
Okay, good question. All right. So the 270,000 comes from the instruction in the tax table. That's that. All right. The 283,000, I gave you that number. So I gave that to you. I said, this is how much annual taxable income this person earns. So we did a calculation before the tax table to get his monthly taxable income. And then underneath the tax table, we times it by 12 to get an annual taxable income. Then I changed that number that you see there, 227,000. I said, here's a new one, 283,425. Okay, so now if we look at the instruction there, highlighted in red on the top right-hand side, it says 62,710 plus 35% of the amount you are above 270,000. So to work out how much you are above 270,000, we've got to take your taxable income and subtract it from 200. So subtract 270,000 from that to see the difference between the two. That difference, which is here, 13,425, is how much you are above 270,000. So if I actually added 13,425 back up onto the 270,000, I would get this value again. Okay, so we're just trying to work out what is the difference between those two. What he has as taxable income and the value, the 270,000, they give us in the instruction. All right, does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, excellent. Okay, not easy. Not easy. You will see this again this year. We're going to come back to this, but you got to be exposed to it for the first time. All right. Everyone has to learn how to ride a bicycle for the first time. First time is never easy. First time of anything is never easy. Okay. Now we get to the final question here. I'm not going to do it because you guys will know what to do. It says here, calculate the monthly income tax he will need to pay. So this value, as we saw, that we got is an annual taxable income. How do I find a monthly amount that he has to pay? What will we need to do? You can tell me, what will we need to do to an annual amount to get a monthly amount? Yes, we divide by 12. That's it. And that will go into his salary slip. So the employer does this calculation for you. All right. They do this calculation for you and they put it in your salary slip for you. So one day when you own a business and you have employees in your business, you will be doing this kind of calculation and putting it into your employees' salary slip. Okay. All right. Now you can take a deep breath. You've experienced a tax table for the first time, maybe. Well done. Good job. You deserve 4 scoops of ice cream. Unfortunately, you're also going to get a quiz. All right, which is
not unfortunate, Teacher Dale. It is not unfortunate.
Well, the quiz has got a tax table in it. So this is actually an opportunity for you to practice, okay? So in fact, right now, when you get this quiz link that Kia's going to put in the chat, take it, go do that quiz, practice what you've just learned now. It'll be easier straight away after the lesson. Remember, if you get confused with anything, you can always watch this video again on Watobe's YouTube channel. The lesson will pop up there. But go practice this in the quiz. You should be fine. Yeah, there's so many messages. I'm trying to find it.
Oh, yeah. He said he typed everything into the calculator. Why did he get a different answer?
All right, let's try that quickly. Good question. So let's try it. So 62710 plus brackets. I'm going to use the fraction here. Okay, so 35 over 100. I'm going to use a times as well, even though the calculator knows that if you put that in front of the brackets, use 2 brackets at the end. Maybe that's what it is. Use 2 brackets at the end of your calculation. So if I press equals here, there we go. We're getting the right answer. Okay, so just check the end of your calculation like I've got there. There needs to be 2 brackets, all right? Because the 283,000 minus the 270,000 needs to be in its own bracket. And then there's a bracket surrounding that as well. Just be careful of that. Yeah, it is a tariff, Bulelo. It is a type of tariff. So it's a financial tariff. You get other tariffs as well, but this tax table is a type of tariff system. Tariff systems are sliding scale systems, okay? And it's exactly what this tax table is. All right, guys, we're going to call it a night.